Hello and welcome to a special all-sports edition of MHK All Day. I'm Jacob Hall. Coming up tonight, we'll take a look at Kansas State sports from the field to the stands to behind the scenes. Plus, we'll hear from the coaches' spouses about dealing with a busy significant other. But first, K-State football beat TCU to take home the Big 12 title, and MHK All Day's Dawson Wagner was there, and he joins us with more.
It's been 26 years since the Big 12 had its first conference championship game. With Kansas State football taking home just 3 of those, it makes this year's Big 12 championship the second time the Wildcats have played in a championship game and won. But with all the focus on the football team beating the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs, who helped make all this possible? And how does a game as big as a Big 12 championship happen in the first place? Well, for that I traveled down to Arlington, Texas and found out for myself.
I got no words, man. This is what we've been working for, and it's just so cool to finally have it happen, and especially in that fashion. That was awesome.
At this point, you probably already know that the Kansas State Wildcats beat the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs to take home the Big 12 championship, but you probably don't know who helped make all this happen. Well, for that, we have to start at the beginning of an unforgettable weekend.
6,937 days. That's how long it has been since Kansas State has played in a Big 12 championship game. That streak ends here today. The 10th-ranked Kansas State Wildcats are back in the Big 12 title game for the first time since 2003. Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Georges, joined by Colby Van Camp, as we are live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Today, it is the K-State Wildcats taking on the TCU Horned Frogs.
It all starts with the K-State fans who traveled all the way to Texas, with some adding it as their 3rd Big 12 championship they've been to.
Well, we went to the Big 12 championship in St. Louis, we went to it in Kansas City, and we had to be here today.
But for most, it was the first time they ever experienced anything like a Big 12 championship.
Cats, baby!
And for others, it was simply just being with other K-State fans and sharing a breakfast burrito.
You want one to go?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll take one.
Yeah.
That's too fine.
So it makes you wonder, with thousands of fans from both teams piling into one stadium, who helps organize the madness that ensues? Well, with no one answer, you could start with all the employees of AT&T Stadium that help fans find their destination on the elevator, cook the food behind the scenes, and cater it to all the media behind the broadcast of the game. 'Cause if it wasn't for all those cameras lined up on the sideline, how else would you see shots like this? But this isn't a story about the media behind the game. This is about the people who make a Big 12 championship game a Big 12 championship game. It's the fans who drive hundreds of miles, the band that provides inspiration and morale, the cheer team, the Classy Cats, and Willie the Wildcat, who all bring a unique energy to a once-in-a-lifetime game. And if it wasn't for all this, there would be no pride of Wildcat land or purple Wildcat family. It would just be another Division I football team winning another Big 12 championship. Instead, it's the Kansas State Wildcats. The team we all gather around every weekend to create memories, magic, and good times with family, friends, and loved ones. That's the Big 12 championship. That's the Wildcat way. For MHK All Day, I'm Dawson Wagner.
As the K-State football team was celebrating their Big 12 championship win on Saturday, some local apparel stores in the Manhattan community like Rally House were preparing for a rush of people trying to find their own championship gear. Growing up in a military family in Kansas and Colorado, John Finnegan started following K-State because of their colors. Now, as a master's student, he couldn't wait to add Big 12 championship gear to his collection.
The moment the field goal went in, I went and I looked for shirts. I couldn't find any on the website I went to, but I knew that they have them here. So, yeah, I think I got a purple long sleeve shirt immediately right when the goal was made.
Since his first order of apparel, he says he wanted to come back for more.
This is family, this is Christmas gifts. This is an easy one. We won, so let's get them for Christmas and a couple more for me, you know.
Aaliyah Wallace is a first-year student at K-State who was excited to find stores in Manhattan who hadn't sold out of shirts.
I was kind of expecting them to not really have any, but I was glad to walk in and be able to find a shirt that I liked.
Right after the game ended on Saturday, Rally House had just one box of championship shirts that sold out in less than 30 minutes. This caps off a football season where sales were significantly higher than the last few seasons.
On a game day, we went over like 100,000, and that's like on a game day, not like a game day weekend. Our first week when football started, we were at like a little over 100,000 and stuff, and then I think our Texas game, our home game, we had like 100 something in sales.
For Finnegan, he says he's got one more item on his wish list.
I will definitely be getting the classiest crew neck I can get with a Big 12 championship so I can wear it to work. I'm going to be in Texas, and I start in Fort Worth, so I'm going to be working with TCU people. I got to make sure that they know that I'm the winner, they're not.
In Manhattan, I'm Jacob Hall.
Still to come on this special sports edition of MHK All Day, we'll head to the broadcast booth as we see what it takes to make a broadcast on television and radio.
15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Plus a unique combination of football and opera. That's coming up.
Welcome back to MHK All Day. I'm Landon Platter. The new K-State men's basketball head coach, Jerome Tang, is bringing a different energy to Bramlage Coliseum. In Jerome Tang's first 9 games as the new head coach of the K-State men's basketball team, he has brought the Wildcats to an 8-1 record. Tang has also managed to bring an excitement that affects people both on and off the court.
Yeah, so I think Tang, he really brings the energy, and you see at the end of the game that, he's doing the Wabash cleanup all by himself in front of the whole student section. He's been hyping up this whole season. Definitely trying to get fan involvement, student involvement, anywhere again. And so I think that's the biggest part in Tang bringing a big audience.
The K-State men's basketball team has started off the season undefeated on their home court at Bramlage Coliseum. The students feel that Tang wants them there, and they continue to show up to support him and the Wildcats. The student section has been full for the majority of these early games.
I think Jerome Tang is in a great audience this year because he brings a new atmosphere and he cares a lot about the student section.
Tang's energy has brought in more than just students. After almost all of last year's players left, Tang had to recruit heavily from the transfer portal. His endeavors were successful, however, as he managed to convince previous 4-star recruits Keontae Johnson and Cam Carter to come to Manhattan. From Manhattan, this is Landon Platter.
I'm Aaron McGill. K-State athletes have a very busy schedule from practices, classes, and games. But one group of athletes is taking time to give back to the community. Every semester, a small group of K-State student athletes take time out of their packed schedules and spend their morning with elementary school kids for a program called Cats in the Classroom.
Cats in the Classroom, we go around to a bunch of different elementary schools and we get to work in their classrooms, get to read with them, go out to recess, work on math, all the different sorts of things, and kind of talk to them about what we do at K-State.
This is our way of giving back to our community, where we just go back to our local schools and hang out, have a good time with them, and just try to give back to the Manhattan community.
Cats in the Classroom has been happening for many years in the past, and consecutively since 2018. Athletes have always loved coming every year.
The main reason why I love coming to this event, I love kids in general and just their curiosity, their questions. I just love to come in, chat with them, tell them a little bit about myself, learn about them, kind of what they love about the Manhattan community.
Cats in the Classroom is a fan favorite event for student athletes from all sports and majors, not just education majors, to be a part of and participate in every year.
One of our favorite community service events for our student athletes. We have events like this where we give back to the community and to the youth in the Manhattan area. We offer it to our student athletes, and then they come running for opportunities to connect with the youth.
On Wildcat 91.9 Radio this fall, one master's student at K-State was able to combine his love of music and Wildcat football in a unique way.
Deuce has an entourage. He takes up to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Wildcats! Deuce Vaughn takes it the distance with 49 seconds in the first quarter.
Opera music and football are two passions for Kobe Van Camp, and he has found a way to combine the two for K-State games this fall.
It's a dream come true to be able to do this kind of broadcasting, to be up in the booth, and to be talking about and doing play-by-play for the team that I love the most on this earth.
He is a classically trained opera musician with 2 albums and says there are similarities between music and broadcasting football games.
25-20, 15-10-5. Touchdown Wildcats!
It's really cool because they're both kind of in the same vein. It's a performance, right? So it wasn't too far of a stretch for me to say, hey, here's all the things that I learned in my undergrad that I can apply now to my touchdown calls.
One of his inspirations for the touchdown calls comes from a faculty professor at K-State who is also an advisor to the radio station and encouraged him to use all of his natural abilities.
When I heard he could sing opera, that was a match. And the first time he did it, everybody was coming up to me after going, okay, what was that? That was so unexpected and so beautiful at the same time.
Colby's musical journey began in the 3rd grade when he joined a local children's choir, and that continued all the way through his undergraduate studies at K-State. But it was in his final year when he picked up this headset and began to broadcast games right behind me at Bill Snyder Family Stadium when those plans suddenly began to change.
That single-handedly brought me into the mass communications master's degree at Kansas State. I had rather hoped to be in Iceland at this time right now doing a master's of music and composition in Reykjavik, so that didn't end up happening.
Anthony Georges is an executive producer at the radio station and says football with an operatic twist is a unique thing to be a part of.
They really combined 2 different industries in one thing, and it's something that I don't think has ever been done before. Moving forward, now people know what to expect. They know how powerful his voice is. Maybe you didn't look for it in the past, but now when K-State scores, you're going to be listening for an opera singer to be getting along with it. You're not just going to be listening to hear how the game's going, but when a big play happens, you're going to know, here comes a powerful opera voice.
For Van Camp, he says he's going to pursue future careers in both music and broadcasting.
I love composing, I love writing music, and if I end up being a radio host somewhere, that's awesome. If I end up in New York performing music, that's awesome too. So I'm just kind of open to whatever door presents itself first.
In Manhattan,
Touchdown Wildcats!
Jacob Hall, Channel 8 News.
Coming up, we'll take a look at other sports keeping K-State students active. The Peters Recreational Complex on campus has some special programs to make staying fit fun. That's next.
Welcome back to MHK All Day. I'm Blake Crawford. It's always tough to stay healthy during the holiday season, but the K-State Recreation Center is doing its part to help with their Fit Friday social media campaign.
Back in August, the K-State Rec Services social media pages have been posting physical fitness tips, but marketing assistant Danae Stokes says they wanted to make a change in their approach.
We had what was called a Wellness Wednesday, but as me and my boss kind of talked about it a little bit, we kind of went into how Wellness Wednesday kind of looks just on physical health, and so we also want to do Fit Friday so it can kind of involve more things, so it can involve physical as well as mental health, and so just getting fit both with your mind and your body.
Stokes, alongside fellow marketing assistant Lexi Parks, are the brainchild behind Fit Friday every week, and they say it's all about keeping the students' needs in mind.
It's coming up with different ideas, so brainstorming with Pinterest and recipes, and then also different workouts that we can do.
We'll just get together and be like, hey, like, what's happening? So obviously during finals week, we're like, okay, we need to make sure that students are really thinking on their mental health. And then we've already started strategizing things for over break. So kind of looking at where students are at in their lives and being able to kind of shift that Fit Friday to what is going to be best and most beneficial to them.
And with the holiday season in full swing comes the New Year's resolution gym goers, and Stokes says they're ready for them.
We've definitely been brainstorming about New Year's resolutions and how we kind of want to incorporate that here into our social media and just giving students, like, it's a fresh year, go into it. Especially working out is one of, the biggest New Year's resolutions that most people do, and so definitely going to hit on that coming in the new year.
From Manhattan, Kansas, I'm Blake Crawford.
I'm Ryan Zielsdorf. K-State HD-TV is a collaborative production of in-house video board shows and network broadcasts. The hands-on opportunities truly prepare students for real-world experiences.
K-State HD-TV provides great experiences with professional broadcasting equipment to prepare its students for future careers.
Working here at HDTV is such an invaluable resource. You know, getting to learn the things that we do here is, it's amazing.
And you know, it pushes me beyond my comfort zone because I'm in charge of a lot more than, you know, most college students get the opportunity to do.
One of our tougher positions as well is replay operating, which is this right behind me. It's called EVS, so this is how we show all of our replays in game. It's challenging but fun at the same time, and definitely a rewarding position.
Even though HDTV is mainly student-ran, it takes a certain level of talent and precision to provide the best game day experience.
I mean, you have some of the best coworkers, and everybody is trying to learn something new every day that they're trying to do with their future career.
You have to have a great work ethic coming here. You know, you gotta be willing to learn, gotta be willing to work through mistakes if they do happen.
There's not a day that passes when I come into work that, you know, I regret, because the environment's amazing and I'm working for my favorite sports team, so what else could you ask for?
From Manhattan, Kansas, I'm Ryan Zielsdorf.
Coming up after the break, we'll show you how the sport of pickleball is gaining popularity at K-State. That's next. Welcome back. While coaches put in many hours for their school and team, those at home can feel their loss. We caught up with some of the coaches' significant others to see just how hard it is to keep the relationship fresh and healthy.
My name is Julie Osterman, and I am the wife of Brian Osterman, who is the Associate Head Women's Basketball Coach.
My name is Beth Sutton, and I'm married to Coach Kevin Sutton, who is the Director of Strategies at Kansas State Men's Basketball.
There were moments, especially when I had 4 children under the age of 4 and we didn't live near any family, that I felt very alone and felt very neglected, in that, you know, I wasn't valued because he was gone a lot. There was even a point right after the girls were born that I talked to my doctor and he gave me some Prozac, and I kept it on my shelf and I never took it, but just knowing that that was available in case I got really depressed or really down and he wasn't there to help with the kids, just kind of made me kind of level out a little bit.
Connected, we have Nations of Coaches, and it's an organization, and I do like a Bible study with other coaches' wives from all over the United States, and it's been a really great way to help support each other.
Pickleball, the relatively new sport, has people of all ages getting out and getting active. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in America. According to usapickleball.org, there are 4.8 million pickleball players as of 2021. This is a growth of nearly 15% from 2020. Along with that, the average age of a pickleball player has declined to 38 years old.
So I got my interest in pickleball from a young age when me, my cousin, and my uncle would go to our local rec center actually in Olathe, and we would go and play pickleball on a regular basis, and we'd have like a friendly competition with it. And that was in the early stages of pickleball, and it's really grown to where there's like leagues now that we can go to and stuff, as you can kind of see here. But yeah, that's kind of where it started for me. It was just like a family thing where it was something to all bond together doing.
With a relatively small court and light paddle, pickleball is a low-impact and non-contact sport which is beneficial to many players. The sport's increasing popularity is due to this fact of inclusivity and ease of play.
I'd say my favorite part about playing pickleball is just it's a really great way to come together with your friends and just get a couple guys coming together, just hanging out. It's something you can do without just sitting down on the couch all day. You can actually get up, get moving, get active, and it's a lot of fun.
Reporting from Channel 8 News, this is Landon Platter.
That's all we have for today's all-sports edition of MHK All Day. I'm Jacob Hall. We will be back in the spring with Channel 8 News. Thanks for watching.